8-1, 5-1 in the Sunshine State Conference, and fresh off of a draw on Saturday, playing to a 1-1 tie against Nova up in Davie on the 13th of October, of course, this past Saturday, and they will take their opponent, the Florida Southern Moccasins, coming with a record of 2-9-1 overall and a 1-4 record in the league. Will Sanchez with you live, flying solo, as we thank you for joining us for another broadcast of Bear Athletics here on the Bucks Broadcasting Network, as the Bucks ready to go at it here as they're on the field right now in their customary silver tops and red shorts. And in goal this evening will be Fred Perez, and they will take on a Florida Southern team in the midst of a 3-game losing streak. And the two losses that began their losing streak, they were able to play their opponents into extra time before losing. Lost a 2-1 decision in the first period of extra time to Lynn last Monday, and then they lost last Thursday to St. Leo, losing 2-1 in the second period of extra time, and then they were drubbed 5-0 this past Saturday against the Tritons of Eckerd. And as you mentioned, for the Buccaneers, they played hard and played to a 1-1 tie against Nova. Connor Randell got himself a goal in that contest, his 4th of the season, which leads the team, and we are underway here from Buccaneer Field. Second to last home match of the season for the men's soccer team. They'll have one more, which will be a week from Saturday, October 27th. It'll be senior day when they play host to Eckerd. Joe Conkleton has it. Bucks normally move from right to left to start this one, but this time they'll move from left to right as they'll be attacking the south goal, hoping that maybe the change here will produce different results in the final couple weeks of the season. Picking it up is Michael Dodds. We'll get to the lineups in a moment. Headed up there by Nicholas Davidson for the Moccasins. Bucks had it for a moment. Mocs get it back, though, trying to turn in the other direction. So you can see them in their red tops and white shorts. Kicked up by Conkleton and kicked out of play. And we'll go to the Bucks lineup here. Of course, head coach by Steve McCrath. As we will get that to you in a moment here as it's thrown in. Conkleton up in the air, kicked up by Randell. And it'll be collected by the Moccasins just a little bit up on the midfield circle. And knocked out of play, and the Bucks will throw in. Throwing it in, Lucas Rio Torto for the Buccaneers. Kyle Schechter over to Houghton Kinsman, and we'll feed it over to the far side to Joe Conkleton. Dribbles, brings it towards the inside, passes back to Randell, and we'll feed it back to Chris Sivieri. Over to Michael Dodds. Fred Perez in goal tonight for the Buccaneers. His counterpart will be number 0, Brent Terrio, sophomore from Port Charlotte in the west coast of Florida. It was Kendall Seeley, but an offside going to be called. To give us an opportunity to get to the lineups here. The forwards up front will be number 2, Connor Randell, sophomore from Shreveport, Louisiana. The other forward, number 12, Patrick Dermola. He is the freshman from Chelsea in England. And the other forward, Kendall Seeley, the senior from Trinidad and Tobago. We'll get to the midfielders in a moment. Ball going to be kicked out. Bucks will throw in their own zone. The midfield will look like this. Number 7, Lucas Rio Torto. He is a sophomore from Rio de Janeiro. The other midfielder, number 10, Chris Wilkinson, a sophomore from Newcastle in England. And also out there, number 17, Houghton Kinsman, the senior from South Africa. And number 19, or actually number 21, Kyle Schechter, the sophomore from Atlanta. Quick shot here, and deflected, and getting past Fred Perez. A goal is scored. It deflected off of a Buccaneer, skittered past Fred Perez, and got past him for the goal. 2:57 into the contest, and the Bucks find themselves behind early. Shot was connected by Carlos Rodriguez, the freshman from Tampa. It did hit off of a Buccaneer, though, trying to clear, and somehow got past Fred Perez. as Rodriguez scores it at 2:57. And for Rodriguez, trying to find, that is his team leading now third goal of the season. Was tied for the team lead with Ashley Holmes, who's also out there in the field once we get to the Florida Southern lineups in a moment. Ball knocked out by Florida Southern on the end line, and the Bucks will have a corner kick upcoming. There's everything happening and happening early. Ball approached by Wilkinson, cleared out, actually might have hit the crossbar just over the head of Ricky Martin. Quick shot there by Chris Sevieri, but saved by Brent Terrio, goalkeeper for Florida Southern. As the ball approaches here, kicked it by Kinsman. And then on the defense, number 4, Chris Sevieri, who took that last shot, the sophomore from Sao Paulo in Brazil. Ray Joe Conkleton, the senior from Derbyshire in England. And number 16, Michael Dodds, the freshman from Gateshead in England. And of course, Fred Perez in goal tonight for the Buccaneers, a senior from Miami. As we'll have a free kick upcoming here. It'll be taken by Carlos Rodriguez, or it might be taken by Luke Jenner. Rodriguez will take it. Quick shot, hits off the back of Schechter. Cleared by Rio Torto, but picked up by the Moccasins. Kicked up by Davidson. Passes it over to the far side.
For number 23, Carlos Rodriguez. Assist number 7, Javon Howard. And number 11, Adam Hansjohn. Time to goal.
Picked up by Wilkinson. Kinsman has it. Passes to Schechter. Trying to set up either for Dermola or for Wilkinson. Going to be kicked up in the air by James Gibson. Dermola has it though. Got it back. Inside the circle. Quickly on the advance. Knocked out by Terrio. And another corner kick coming up for the Buccaneers. Once more from the far corner. So the Carlos Rodriguez goal, as we mentioned, at 2:57 into the contest, his third of the season, which now leads this Florida Southern team. Wilkinson with the corner. Ball approaches, and right behind him is Dodds, but stepping right in front to try to clear that one out was Gibson. Dodds gets it, sets it up for Seeley, kicked it over the goal. Perfect pass set up by Michael Dodds, got it right to Kendall Seeley, and it just grazed the top end of the crossbar and over the outstretched arm of Brent Terrio and out of play. So goal kick upcoming here for Florida Southern. And for the Moccasins as a team, that's only their 11th goal in the season. In fact, these two teams coming in to this evening's game have each scored 10 goals apiece this season. Seeley and the Bucks right back at it again. Knocks off of a Moccasin and he's down. Bucks continue on. Try to set it up for Dermola, but cleared. Randall will chase it back though. Turns. Stopped. Starts again. Tripped up. No whistle, but Randall regains his footing and the ball. Set up, quick shot by Schechter, kicks it wide right. And now time will stop here as the signal has been made to check on the injured Moccasin player. As the ball hit off of him on that hard shot by Kendall Seeley. As they will call in the Moccasin training staff to have a look as he is bent over and in pain after taking that rocket shot off the foot of Kendall Seeley, and it's Nicholas Davidson who's down as he will pop up to his feet, trying to shake that one off, and will walk off, and we'll tell the training staff I'm okay to go. He will stay in there. After leaning down there for a while, the officials have to tell him, well, you got to run upfield. That's where the rest of your teammates are, and along with the rest of the Buccaneers. And I believe he's been asked to come out of the game. Let's see. Is that the case? Well, actually, has to come off and then go to the scores table. And with the help of his head coach, Hugh Seyfarth, will come back in. So actually taken out for a split second and then re-entered. And with all that, a little more than 7 minutes into the contest. The Bucks are already behind the goal. Conkleton up there along with Jovan Howard. Mocs still have it though. Quick setup here and gets past Rio Torto. The nearest moccasin there is Patrick Abramson. And we'll head off of the buck, and we're going to have a corner kick coming up for Florida Southern, their first of the game. It'll be from the near corner. Moccasin shooting towards the north goal here in the first half. Bucks will shoot towards that area in the second half. Ball approaches. All the Moccasins charge. Rodriguez had a foot on it. Nearly got a second opportunity, but cleared out by Schechter. It'll be chased back by Nicholas Davidson. Trying to keep it in play, and we'll hit off of a buck. It'll hit off for Dermola, and the Moccasins will throw in deep from their own zone. We'll get to the Florida Southern lineup right here. We'll start with their forwards. Number 7, Jovan Howard, a senior from Micanopy here in the state, right near Gainesville. The other forward, number 11, Adam Hansjons, a junior from Uplands Vasby in Sweden. And the other forward will be, actually there's only 2 forwards. And then it'll be 4 midfielders out there. We'll get to those in a moment. Beginning with number 6, Patrick Abramson, a junior from Frölunda in Sweden. The other midfielder, number 8, Luke Jenner. As time is stopped again. Here's we're just past the 9-minute mark. And the Bucks down 1-0. As I mentioned to you, Patrick Abramson is the one midfielder, the other one being number 8, Luke Jenner, the junior from Preston in England. And continuing on here with the rest of the lineup, number 14, Mitchell Francois, a sophomore from Frisco, Texas. Ball goes out of play, and we're going to have a corner kick coming up here for Florida Southern, this time from the far corner. And number 23, Carlos Rodriguez, who scored the first goal of this one, a freshman from Tampa. And on the defense, number 5, Ashley Holmes, a senior from Gedling in England. The other defender, number 19, James Gibson, a sophomore from Cape Coral here in Florida. Number 20, Ricky Martin, a junior from Naperville in Illinois. And another stoppage of the clock. Here, that's our third stoppage within the first 10 minutes. As we're exactly 9:52 in. And the final defender out there is number 21, Nicholas Davidson, a freshman from Sweden. And then, of course, as we mentioned, the goalkeeper tonight, number 0, Brent Terrio, the sophomore from Port Charlotte on the West Coast here in the Sunshine State. So corner kick now. Clock starts. Ball approaches. Loose. Mocs get there. Quick shot taken and hits off the crossbar, and nearly following that one in was Patrick Abramson. The first shot was taken by Luke Jenner. Hit off of Perez, went right back to Patrick Abramson, who almost headed it in, but his shot went wide left. A goal kick coming up here for the Bucks. Picked up by Seeley. Rio Torto. Nice nifty move around Abramson. Chased down, and now a foul called. Came late, a second late, but now the foul called on Patrick Abramson. Clutching on to Lucas Rio Torto. A free kick coming up here for the Bucks. Kicks it. And a set up here for Randell or Dermola, kicked up in the air though by the Mocs. Conkleton gives it up to Rodriguez. It's off of Kinsman. Picking this one up will be Ashley Holmes. Bucks had it for a moment, went right back to Florida Southern. Punched up in the air. Kicked upfield by Florida Southern. Conkleton will race back for it for the Buccaneers and will pass back to Fred Perez. Conkleton from the far side. Gets around one defender. Kicks it upfield, no one home. Nearest one there, James Gibson. And will pass back to his goalkeeper, Terrio. Kicks it up in the air and headed up by Sevieri. Randell to Schechter. It's off of a mock. Picked up by Davidson. Rodriguez stumbles and falls as he gets that pass off. Stepping right in front was Francois. Mock's still on the move here. Trying to set it up here for Hans-Johns. Right behind him was Abramson, but the Bucks get there first. Seeley, pass back to Rio Torto. Gets around Davidson. Still on the advance. Rio Torto showing a lot of speed early. Tripped up, foul called on the Moccasins. They're going to get it on Abramson. Tripping up Kendall Seeley. So a free kick upcoming. Kinsman to Schechter. Feeds Conkleton. Quick shot with a left foot and will go wide. And Dermola will give chase, but to no avail. And we'll have a goal kick coming up here for FSC. As we're inside the 13th minute. The Bucks behind. As everyone will assemble, as we mentioned to you about the Bucks, played last Saturday against Nova, played to a 1-1 draw. As the Bucks scored first when Connor Randell found the back of the net, connecting on Chris Wilkinson's ball from near center field, played into the center box, giving the Bucks a 1-0 advantage. And with that, that was his 4th goal of the year. The goal was scored inside of the 22nd minute. We're going to give the exact time at 21:27. Foul called on the Bucks. The reason why is because a minute and 8 seconds later, Nova got the tying goal by Ricardo Bini, his 7th of the year. As described, mix up in the box, cross into the goal before the Bucks could clear it out. And then the teams would play deadlocked from there. Kicked up in the air and won't be touched by anyone. Goal kick coming up here for the Buccaneers. And essentially, that's how both teams would play. Pretty much deadlocked for the final 87 minutes and change. Considering the 90 minutes of regulation and the 2 periods of extra time, 10 minutes apiece, which amounts to 110 minutes. Hits off of a mock, picked up here by Abramson. And no one there. Closest ones there were Davidson and Gibson. Kicked out by the Bucks. Or actually kicked out by the Mocs, correction. And Bucks have it here. Kicked up and out of play. And it'll be thrown coming up here for Florida Southern. Thrown in by Davidson. Past a couple of mocks. Picked up by Michael Dodds, who will feed back to Chris Sevieri. Splits. Jovan Howard passes to Joe Conkleton. Over to Houghton Kinsman. Gets around Rodriguez. Crosses the midfield stripe. But picked off by Florida Southern. This is Gibson. Kicked upfield by Jenner. And out of play, and no, actually kept in play. Sevieri will keep it in play and pass it back to Fred Perez. Right back to Sevieri. And the Bucks will begin their voyage upfield. Conkleton to Wilkinson. It's around Rodriguez. Tied up, kicked up by Florida Southern. It'll go right back to Barry. Dodds to Seeley. Will go past him, and Mox will throw in. Davidson to Gibson. Pass back. Over to Jenner. Feeds it over to Davidson with Seeley chasing. Over to Abramson. Seeley will pick it off, gets inside position, trying to get around Hansjohns, hits off of a mock, picked off by Hansjohns, but Schechter is able to step right in front to take it away. Over to Wilkinson. Shoots it across. Dermola trying to give chase. And gets it. Quick shot, trying to find Wilkinson. Couldn't get there in time to try to redirect it in. And out of play, and goal kick coming up here for Florida Southern. So goal kick upcoming. The tie for the Buccaneers this past Saturday snapped a 4-game losing streak. Extended a winless streak, to 5. Hoping to change all that tonight. But once again, we'll have to play from behind. Perez punts it away. It's off at Dermola. Jenner had it. Taken away by Schechter. Feeds it to Seeley. Bring it around. Davidson passes back to Kinsman. Over to Wilkinson. Inside the midfield circle. Slips it over to Conkleton. Kinsman. So we're 18 minutes in, to be exact. Try to slip it over to Wilkinson. No one there, but Randall is able to chase it down low. Try to keep it in play. Kicks it, and no one home. And a goal kick coming up here for Florida Southern. More soccer action coming your way tomorrow. It'll be the women's contest, as Barry will play host to Florida Southern. Buccaneers fresh off of a tie as well. Played to a 2-2 tie this past Saturday at Nova. So both the men's and women's teams both played the draws. The men to a 1-1 tie and the women to a 2-2 tie. Foul called on the Bucks. And these will be the final home games before next Saturday, which will be October 27th, which will be the regular season finale for both teams. And the home finale, Senior Day. And it will be a doubleheader, 4:30 and 7 on Saturday, October 27th. Both teams will play host to Eckerd. Jenner hits off, picked off by the Bucks. And here they come on the move. Dermola sets it up for Seeley. Receives it all by his lonesome and skips it past Brent Terrio for the goal. Kendall Seeley scores it at 19:27. Seeley, his second goal of the season. Got a beautiful pass from Connor Randall to tie the matchup at 1. Kendall Seeley was able to track it down, was all by himself. The defense behind him only had Terrio as the last line of defense, as he was able to slip it in. Dermola will get the assist correction, but Seeley gets his second goal of the year. And for Dermola getting the assist, that will be his second assist of the season. And inside of 20 minutes, we're all tied at 1. A Seeley goal coming at 19:27. Francois to Davidson, back to Francois. Just below the midfield circle, headed out by Rio Torto. And a throw-in coming up here for the Moccasins. Thrown in by Davidson to Francois. We'll pass it back Over to Gibson. We'll set it up here for Holmes. Gets it to Jenner, trying to turn on Schechter. Passes back, finds Abramson, or correction, Howard. And knocked out, and Florida Southern will throw in. Conkelton knocked it out last. Thrown in, Hans-Johns. Kinsman had it for a second. Schechter trying to take it away. Florida Southern getting it back. And a whistle and a foul called on the Mocs. Either on Martin or player down, and it might be on Hans-Johns. And clock will stop. The 10 to the second Florida Southern injury of the evening. This time it'll be Adam Hans-Johns who's down. Squatting down, and will slowly but surely get to his feet completely. And we'll walk it off, and appears to be okay. And play will be whistled back in a matter of seconds here. And Conkelton waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. Finally kicks it. Schechter. Over to Dodds. Finds Dermola. Feed back to Dodds. Gets it to Wilkinson. Kicks it across, has Dermola there. And we'll chase it down. On the right edge of the box. Kicked it hard. No one there except for a mock, and that was Martin. Conkelton gets it back though for the Bucks. Slips it to Kinsman. Back to Conkelton. Gets by one, but cannot continue his advance because Terrio was able to step in front and dive on the ball and cover. Nice aggressive move to the net by Joe Conkelton, but all for naught. Terrio kicks it away. Headed up by Randell. Kinsman. Pass back to Conkelton. Picks it up, trying to set up Dermola. But kicked up and out of play, trying to set up here. Rio Torto there, they're going to get him for the foul. Lucas Rio Torto inadvertently knocking down Patrick Abramson. Or more of incidental contact, to tell you the truth. Contact ensued right on the top of the box. And that's where the free kick will take place. This will be the second of the game from almost that spot for Florida Southern. Carlos Rodriguez to the right. Mitchell Francois to the left. Now they'll switch. Rodriguez will take it. Will yield to Francois. Takes a shot. Hits off of Seeley and out of play. And we'll have a corner kick coming up for Florida Southern. Seeley was the one who got the block. But Perez couldn't get there in time to try to keep it in play or even get his hands on the ball. So it went out of play. And it'll be a corner kick from the far end for FSC. Corner upcoming. Ball approaches and headed out of there by Conkelton. Kicked out of there by Wilkinson. But Francois gets it quickly. Feeds it over to the far side. Hits off of Sevieri, and another corner coming up. So the second corner kick up coming for Florida Southern within a minute. Ball approaches, and that shot misses high for Florida Southern. Trying to catch the number here. I believe that was Martin who took the shot. Yep. It was Martin who took it. The junior from Naperville, Illinois. And shot it high. Perez kicks it away. Stepping right in front is Davidson. Kinsman has it. Saved in by Seeley. Feeds it to Dermola. Gets around Gibson. Here he is quickly on the advance. Tries to set up for Seeley. Already has one goal. and nearly made it 2. Hits off it, gets it back, and Wilkinson not in the right spot, but right behind him is Conkleton. Got it to Randell, but cleared out by Francois. Quick shot by Kinsman, shot is high for the senior from South Africa. Shot that ball high above the goal, and Seeley was mere steps from his second goal within the last 6 minutes.
Is it 5 shots? Yep, 5-7, you got it right. Should be 3 saves for that run.
No shots there. Of course, that one save by Terrio. In the right position, hits off of Abramson. Out of play. Bucks will throw in from the near sideline. So we're inside the 26th minute. Score tied at 1. Bucks came close though to taking the lead. Wilkinson to Rio Torto. It's around Abramson. Nearly got past the second. That being Jenner. Jenner will kick it out. Bucks will throw in. Rio Torto to Dermola. Hits it off his chest. Or fields it off his chest. Wilkinson, Kinsman, slips it over to Conkleton. Gets it on the far side. Pass back to Kinsman. Gets it to Randell. Will find Schechter. Headed up there for a moment by Jenner. Schechter gets it back though. Over to Dermola. Trying to get around. Hits off of a mock. Kicked up towards the far side, right at midfield. Sevieri there. Dodds collects, but picked off by the Mocs. Trying to set up here from Amerson, trying to get around Rio Torto, but chasing it down and kicking it out of there is Fred Perez. Seeley had it, but will lose it to Davidson. Will pass to Gibson. Gibson to Holmes. Finds Francois. Jenner to Gibson. Picks it up. Headed up by Howard and tried to pass it back to Martin. And Martin couldn't track it down. The Bucks will throw in on the far side of the field. Conkleton throws in. It's off the head of a mock and out of play. And the Bucks will throw in once more. Kinsman, Seeley. Trying to set up, chasing it down is Wilkinson, but he's going to be called for an offside. Jumped the gun a little bit early. Had Dermola not too far behind him, but Wilkinson getting an early start on that jaunt. Gets called for the offside. Schechter to Seeley. Jenner on him. Pass back to Schechter. Trying to set up for Dermola over his head. And no one there. It'll be kicked out. Mox will throw in. Francois to Holmes. Kicked up, trying to connect with Abramson. Does, trying to keep it in play and can't. And the Bucks will throw in. Throw into Dodds. Finds Kinsman, back to Dodds. Slips it over to Seeley. Seeley trying to make the turn, has it taken away by Davidson for a moment. Tried to get it over to Abramson. Seeley had it for a second, loses it out, and the Bucks will throw in. Nearly 30 minutes in when we've yet to have a substitution for either squad. Nice pass by Dermola, sets it up for Seeley. Slips it over to Wilkinson. Inside the box. Such a pass. Brent. Chris Wilkinson gets the goal. His third of the season. And the Bucks have jumped ahead. They now lead it 2-1. The goal inside of the 30th minute. Goal scored exactly at 29:41. Chris Wilkinson, his third goal of the season, has put the Buccaneers on top.
Bear University goal number 10, Chris Wilkinson. Assist number 19, Kendall Seeley. Number 12, Patrick Dermola.
Assist to Kendall Seeley and to Patrick Dermola. For Dermola, his second assist of the game. And for Seeley, an assist to go along with a goal. Florida Southern trying to answer back quickly, but the advance by Patrick Abramson going to be nullified because of an offside. Or correction, it's going to be a foul called. There's a handball called on that particular play. So 30-plus minutes in, and the Bucks up a goal. Looking for their first conference win of the season, their first home win of the season. And now we'll have our first substitution of the game. And it'll be made by Florida Southern. Coming in will be Thomas Blumenthal, a freshman from Sweden. And he will check in for Patrick Abramson. So Blumenthal will take his spot. Francois to Holmes. On the upper end of the box, or the midfield circle, correction, picked up by Seeley. Feeds it to Schechter. Slips it over to Dermola. Gets it. Is on the right perimeter of the box. Trying to slide it back over to Schechter. Feeds it to Wilkinson. Trying to skip it on past to Dermola. Gets around. Skipped up in the air, deflected by a mock. Cleared out of there by Florida Southern. Picked up by Hans-Johns for a second, but Sevieri will chase it down. Makes the turn. Feeds Conkleton. And will pass back to Kinsman. Kinsman to Rio Torto. Finds Seeley. Wilkinson. For a moment, didn't know if he was expecting that pass. Wilkinson gets it back, sets it up for Dermola. But Holmes will get it to his goalkeeper and will head it to Brent. Francois to Martin. Nice move by Francois. Gets around Schechter. Martin over on the far side. Now on the corner. Knocked out of play by the Bucks. And a throw in deep inside the Berry zone. Throw into Rodriguez. Kinsman on him. Slips it back to Martin. Ball approaches. Cleared out by Dodds. Picked up here by Jenner. Gets it to Francois. On the far side of the field. Slip pass to Gibson. Skips across. Shot will go way wide to the left by James Gibson. And a goal kick coming up here for the Bucks. Under 12 minutes to go in the half. And there we say the Buccaneers ahead. 2-1. Goals by King. And we'll have our first substitution for the Buccaneers in this contest tonight. Out will go Al Schechter. And in his place will be Thomas Coombs, a freshman from Newcastle in England. Over that is Seeley. This is Davidson trying to get it to Hans-Johns. Bucks have it though. Coombs trying to feed Dermola. Picked off by Gibson. Sets it up for Hans-Johns. Kicked up and cleared by Dodds. Coombs chases it down. Right at the midfield stripe. Turns back. Feeds Wilkinson. Kicks it up for Kinsman. Fields it off his chest. Over to Conkleton. And turned over. Mox had it for a moment, but taken away by Sevieri. And a foul called by Florida Southern. Thrown in. Kinsman. Wilkinson to Conkleton. This is Dermola. Pass back to Wilkinson. Conkleton. Over to Coombs. Gets around Rodriguez. But Rodriguez there to track it down. Bucks get it back though. Wilkinson trying to find either Kinsman or Dermola. Dermola's going to get called for the foul. Trying to get that ball. Accidentally kicked a mock player down, and that was James Gibson. And I believe Dermola will only get a warning here. So the referee's letting him play. Well, tried to field it off his foot, but just happened to find Gibson there, right in front. Davidson to Francois. Holmes now to Rodriguez in the center of the field. Bounces off him. Gets it back to Holmes. Slips it over to Howard. A nice defensive play there by Randall, and going to be knocked off. In fact, Randall couldn't keep it in play before he was able to make the turn. So another corner kick coming up here for Florida Southern. And it'll be Hans Johnson will take it. Once again. So we're approaching the 36th minute in this match. Actually, it's just going to be a throw-in. So correction, just a throw-in, not a corner kick. So my mistake on that one. Hits off of Howard. Kicked out by Coombs, and Moccasins will throw in once more. Pass back. It's off of Randall. Florida Southern will throw in again. Hans Johns. Trying to make the turn, and going to be foul on Florida Southern. And we're going to see Jung Kim checking in a moment for the Buccaneers. He will check in for Connor Randall in a moment. A little more than 8 minutes to go in the half, and the Bucks ahead 2-1. Perez waiting, kicks, picked off by Martin. Slips it in front. Howard trying to give chase, can't get there, and a goal kick coming up. And now Jung Kim will check in for Connor Randall.
Game for the Buccaneers, number 23, Jung Kim.
Clock continues to tick. Perez waiting. He'll kick this one away. Perez playing in his 12th game of the season, making his 11th start. Combined record of 3-6-1, and his goals against average currently at 1.91. Foul called on the Moccasins, and down on the ground, Patrick Dermola will be slow to get up. Now on his knees, and now pops up to his feet. With under 7 minutes to go in the half. This clock will stop here with 6:48 to go until halftime. Conkleton will take it. His counterpart, Brent Terrio, is making his 7th start of the season. Has a record of 1-5. His goals against average at over 2.04 to be exact. And the reason why the clock was stopped, a yellow card issued to Ashley Holmes. Conkleton. Gets it to Dermola. Knocked down, no whistle. Moxon's clear out. Hans-Johns has it. Right at the midfield circle. Trying to slip it here for Blumenthal. Has it. On the left wing of the box. Trying to make the turn. Nice smooth arrow by Lucas Rio Torto. Getting inside position. The ball away from Blumenthal. Kinsman to Sevieri to Conkleton. Dermola trying to chase it down is June Kim. As inside the box, Coombs overran the ball. And kicking it out of there is Davidson. Feed to Howard. Over on the far side. Pass back to Rodriguez. Florida Southern's lone goal, which was scored just a few seconds inside of the 3rd minute. Or a few seconds before the 3rd minute, exactly. Ball thrown in. Trying to make the turn is Rodriguez. Trying to send it. No one there. Picked off by Seeley. Wilkinson. Another sub coming in moments here for Florida Southern. Kicked out, and I believe you can catch a number here from afar. So we'll find out when they make the announcement once he checks in. Dodds to Dermola. Will head off of Gibson and a throw in for Barry deep inside the Florida Southern zone. Throw into Rio Torto. Kicks it up. Nearest one there was Coombs. Kicked out of there by Florida Southern. Conklin trying to keep it in the zone. Fielded by Howard. Trying to track it down is Martin. Trying to get inside position on Sevieri. Slides on down. Kicks it out. And it'll be Florida Southern throwing it in.
In Florida Southern, number 12, Peter.
And checking in will be Peter Allenson. And out will go Jovan Howard. So Allenson will check in, sophomore from Sweden. A lot of Swedish players on this Florida Southern roster. Quick shot, and no one there. Closest one there, but trailing it was Allenson. It was just a couple steps behind. Trying to make the turn, and unable to get around is Coombs. And we'll kick it that play. And throwing coming up here for Florida Southern. This is Francois. Pass back to Davidson. Allenson had it. Bumped over by Rio Torto. Seeley to trying to set up here for Dermola. Chasing it down, but call for an offside. Got the jump a little bit too early. Two teams will assemble here, all in the Barry zone. This is Francois. Pass back to Holmes. Picked off by Kim. Setting it up here for Dermola. Has it on the far side. Chasing there is Seeley, trying to feel that pass, waiting for a redirect, but stepping right in front of the path is Terrio. Allenson trying to connect with Hans-Johns. Kicking it out of there is Dodds, clearing it out. And coming up will be a throw in for Florida Southern deep in the Buccaneers zone. With a minute 45 to go and a half. Bucks lead at 2-1. Davidson to Jenner. Picks it up. Right there was Martin. Beside him was Blumenthal, and ball kicked out and out of play, and we'll have another buck coming in for the final 90 seconds. Dermola out, and I believe it's Randy Taylor checking in. The lineup that's out there now will probably be the lineup that you'll see start the second half, because we're at 1 minute to go in a half.
1 minute remaining in the first period.
Blumenthal, or actually Perez with a kick, Jenner and Coombs. Mox get it here, Holmes. Pass back to Terrio. Gibson to Holmes. Jenner kicking it across, trying to connect with Blumenthal, but picked up by the Bucks. Coombs has it in the final half minute. Kicked up, and we'll go right to Terrio. And that could be the final wave of activity here in the first half. Terrio will kick this one across. Conkelton there, headed up in the final 10 seconds.
9, 8,
Kicked up.
6, 5, 4.
And ball will bounce high up in the air, and that will do it for the first half. 45 minutes in the books. And the Buccaneers with a 2-1 lead going into the locker room. Bucks trailed 1-0 as they gave up a goal inside the third minute when Carlos Rodriguez scored his third goal of the season, which put Florida Southern ahead 1-0, but then the Bucks came back and tied the game inside of the 20th minute when Kendall Seeley scored his second goal of the season to tie it up at 1. And then inside of the 30th minute, it was Chris Wilkinson getting his third goal of the year, which puts him 1 goal behind Connor Randell for the team lead, as Seeley was there for the assist. So now he has a goal and an assist tonight. 2 goals in the season, 3 assists on the year for Kendall Seeley, and Patrick Dramola with 2 assists. Set up Seeley on the first goal and assisted along with Seeley for the second goal, setting up Wilkinson. So Dramola with 2 assists tonight, 3 in total. And with all that, the Bucks lead it 2-1 here at halftime from Buccaneer Field in Miami Shores. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will be back with you in time for the second half here from Buccaneer Field in Miami Shores. It's Berry 2, Florida Southern 1 on the Bucks Broadcasting Network.
It's time for the busy
Welcome me back live to Buccaneer Field in Miami Shores as the Bucks lead it 2-1 as we're moments away from getting the second half underway. Will Sanchez with you live. We thank you for joining us for another broadcast of Berry Athletics here in the Bucks Broadcasting Network as the Mocs on the field, the Bucks out there as well, slowly but surely. Teams will switch sides, and the Buccaneers will travel from our broadcast right to left as they'll be shooting towards the north goal, and the Mocs will move from left to right heading towards the south goal. So out there will be Kinsman, Conkleton, Kim, Coombs still out there along with Seeley, Sevieri, Dodds, Taylor's going to stay in after he checked in the waning moments of the first half. And out for Florida Southern, Martin's still out there. I believe Holmes still out there. Gibson. And last but not least is Davidson. So four on the back line defensively for the Moccasins, two midfielders, that being Francois and Jenner, and then four forwards, including Blumenthal, Rodriguez, Hans-Johns, and I believe Allenson should be the last one out there for Florida Southern. And they're on the move quickly. This is Martin. Cleared out for a moment, and a whistle, and foul called on Florida Southern. Nope, well, it just went over the end line, so just ball was turned over. Seemed like the ball was kept in play. And we actually have a beach ball that made its way inside the press box. And everything else. Also, I called him the Bucks.
Yeah, you trying to be funny?
So Terrio will feed it to Martin, and we'll set it up for him. Kicked up. And off the head of Dodd, Sevieri to Wilkinson, but picked up by Florida Southern. This is Rodriguez. Over to Davidson. Cleared out by Dodds, kicked out by Kinsman, out of play. Florida Southern will throw in from the far sideline. Kicked out of there by Seeley. Be chased down by Gibson. Kicked up in the air, out of play, and into the bleachers, and the Bucks will throw in. Kim, Austin, Conkleton had it for a moment, and ball's going to be turned over. Buck player was out when he was trying to move, and that'll be turned over automatically to Florida Southern. Kinsman to Coombs. Feeds it to Seeley. Coombs gets it back. Kicked out of there by Holmes. Jenner to Blumenthal. Slips it to Hans-Johns. Trying to get it back to Blumenthal with Conkleton chasing. Conkleton will track it down. I believe that hit off of Blumenthal, and it did. So that'll be possession awarded to the Buccaneers. Thrown into Coombs. Jenner picking off. Ball kicked into the box. Cleared out by Dodds. Not a play. It'll be the Moccasins throwing in. Kicked out and throwing deep in the Berry zone for the Florida Southern. Gets it to Rodriguez inside the box. Spins, turns, still has possession, sets it up for Blumenthal. Shot is high. Way high there for Thomas Blumenthal. And ball will be awarded to the Buccaneers. Goal kick coming up by Fred Perez. Was giving up one goal tonight. That was to Carlos Rodriguez inside the 3rd minute. Rodriguez scoring his 3rd of the year. So that ball kicked away. And for Perez, it's the 21st goal he's given up this season. Knocked out. And Bucks throwing in. Coombs to Sealy. All sent in. Dodds. And kicked it. Or actually, quick shot there and saved. Shot there by Lucas Ritorto, but it was saved by Brent Terrio as he punts it away. Sevieri to Conkelton trying to clear it out. Hansjohn's there. Kicked out by Dodds. Picked up by Taylor. Trying to slip it back to either Wilkinson or Kinsman. It's picked off by Rodriguez. Right there is Blumenthal trying to get around Sevieri. Hits off of Conkelton. Ball still up for grabs. Picked up by Kinsman. 2 players down. 1 Buccaneer, 1 Moccasin. And whistle will be blown and play will be stopped as 2 players are down. As we mentioned, he 1 for the Bucks and 1 for the Moccasins. The Florida Southern player is up. And I believe, can't quite catch the number here, that's Wilkinson. But he's up to his feet. Both players appear to be okay. The clock stopped here as we're inside of the 6th minute in the 2nd half. Inside of the 51st minute overall. And quick shot there as goes over to Terrio, who will kick it away. Over the head of both Blumenthal and Conkelton. We'll go right back to Perez on the other side. So he'll pick up with Hansjohn's chasing him. Punts it away. Over 2 players. Cleared out by Holmes. Ball goes out. Bucks will throw in the Florida Southern zone. Conkelton to throw in. Sealy back to Conkelton. Wilkinson to Coombs. Makes the turn. And to slide it over to Kim, who will chase it down. Goes on the right wing of the box. Trying to race over his Kinsman, but stepping in front of his path is Florida Southern. Pass is picked off. Still on the advance, that's Allenson. And a feed it back to Allenson there. Kicked out of there by Dodds. And the Moccasins will throw in. Bounces off. Francois was there. Kicked up. Hits off of a buck, out of play, and we'll have a corner kick coming up for Florida Southern. His Hansjohns will step in his familiar role and will deliver the corner kick, this time from the far corner. Moccasins kicking towards the south goal. Ball approaching and hit off a couple of mocks, and it will go to play. Actually, the last touch was by a Buccaneer, so a second corner kick coming up for Florida Southern, this time from the near corner. And once again, it'll be Hans-Johns again who will take it. So from the far side to the near side. Hans-Johns with the delivery and hit off of Jenner. Right there was Martin. Passes back. Francois will feel it, and foul called on Florida Southern. Was called when one of the Moxon players impeded the path of Fred Perez. It was more interference than anything else, so goal kick upcoming. Ball will go out, and Florida Southern will throw in from the Berry zone near midfield. Martin will throw in. Throw back to Holmes. Gibson trying to set up here for Allenson. Can't get there. Kicked out. Bucks will throw in. As Ramola waiting to check back in, he will check in for Coombs. Ramola with 2 assists tonight. Rodriguez pass back. This is Davidson. Pass back. This goes to Gibson. Gibson and Holmes in the back. Holmes approaching. Delivers it upfield. Had Blumenthal there, but Conkelton will collect. Pass over to Seeley over on the near side. Still advancing. Hurdles over Blumenthal and Holmes. Chasing it down. Taylor can't do it. Ball goes out before Taylor was able to track it down. And the Moccasins will throw in. Francois will just throw it on into his teammate and goalkeeper, Theriot. Francois back to Theriot. Over to Gibson. Pass over to Davidson over on the far side. Francois. Davidson. I'll knock that a play. Try to get to Allenson. And the Mocs will throw in from near the Berry bench. Get the cross from Davidson to Holmes. Actually, that was gets it to Rodriguez, but right behind him is Kinsman. It'll pass back to Fred Perez. Takes it away, picked up by Davidson. Shoots it across over the head of Blumenthal. Sevieri clears. Stepping right in front was Wilkinson. And they have space. Wilkinson and Seeley. Gets around one, gets around another. Trying to slip it there for Kim. Makes the connection. Kim is there. Slips it and scores! June Kim gets into the scoring tally for the Buccaneers. The third consecutive goal scored tonight for the Buccaneers. And for June Kim, his first goal of the season. For the junior out of South Korea. And the Bucks extend their lead now to 3-1. Goal scored at 56:52. Patrick Dramola back in for Randy Taylor. But 3 different Buccaneers have scored tonight and all in a row. Kendall Seeley first, Chris Wilkinson second, and just moments ago, June Kim getting his first of the year. Make it 3-1. This ties the most goals in a game for the Bucks this season. They did score 3 in a victory in extra time against Palm Beach Atlantic. 3 weeks ago. Kicked up by Jenner. And for Florida Southern, the defensive troubles continue. Remember, this is the same team that lost 5-0 on Saturday to Eckerd. Dermola will kick it up, no one there except for Terrio. They last got a victory on September 29th, about 2.5 weeks ago, at Florida Tech. Won that match 1-0. In fact, their 2 victories for Florida Southern this season have both come on the road. The Florida Tech matchup, at the time, the Panthers were actually ranked. They were 20th. The other victory came at Nova back on September 12th. They won that game 1-0. They actually have a .500 record on the road. They are 2-2-1, but they are 0-6 at home. So it's interesting how both teams, both Berry and Florida Southern, coming into tonight's game, both with winless records in their respective home fields. But the Bucks trying to change all that and nearly getting a 4th goal overall for the Buccaneers, and steps away from his 2nd goal tonight is Kendall Seeley. The ball was way out in front for him. Thrown in. Jenner has it. Hits off the back of a Buck. I believe that was Coombs. Kicked up by Martin. Picked up by Dermola. Feeds it to Seeley. Makes the turn. Sets it up back for Dermola. Quick shot. Hits off of Gibson. And kicked out of play. And the Bucks will throw in. It'd be nice to see Dermola try to get into this scoring tally before this one is over and done with. Just 3 assists this season, but has yet to score a goal. Trying to change all that tonight. He's had a couple of opportunities. Dribbled out. Moccasins will throw in. So you mentioned Florida Southern was 0-6 at home. Bucks are 0-5. But if they hold on, that winless streak will go by the wayside. Picked up by Sivieri. Trying to collect their 4th win on the season. Overall. Cross. This is Sivieri. Makes the turn. Shot wide for Hans-Johns. And a goal kick coming up here for the Buccaneers, ahead now 3-1. As everyone has gotten into scoring bonanza tonight for the Buccaneers. Their 2nd to last home match of the year. Next 2 matches will be on the road. Beginning this Saturday, they'll be at Florida Tech, taking on the Panthers. Kicked out. Or actually last touch by Florida Southern. Bucks will throw in. They're at Florida Tech on Saturday. And then a week from tomorrow, 24th of October, they'll be at Lynn. And of course, the home finale and the regular season finale for the Buccaneers, as they'll have their senior day playing host to Eckerd. And that'll be at 7 o'clock, part of the doubleheader between the men's and women's soccer teams playing Eckerd and their men's and women's soccer teams. It'll be a women's match first at 4:30, and the men's match will follow thereafter at 7. Sevieri picked off by Blumenthal. Gets it to Hans-Johns, feeds it over to Jenner, and will slip it past Fred Perez. Also behind him, trying to make the stop was Conkleton, but a little bit too late there. as it's Adam Hansjohns getting the goal for Florida Southern to cut the Berry lead to 1 at 3-2. As Hansjohns gets his first goal of the season. As the junior from Sweden cuts the lead to 1 at 3-2.
Florida Southern goal number 8, Luke Jenner.
Or correction, Luke Jenner got the goal. Hansjohns got the assist.
Number 18, Thomas Blumenthal, time of the goal, 62-12.
62-12 on the goal for the junior from England. For Luke Jenner getting his second goal of the season, which ties him for second on the roster along with Holmes. And behind the team leader, Carlos Rodriguez, who scored his team-leading third goal of the season earlier tonight. Dermola slips it back to Coombs, trying to get it back to Dermola, trying to chase it down, but Holmes is going to get there first. Kicking it out of there is Terrio. And waiting for it is Kendall Seeley. Here he is on the approach, splits two defenders, has a clear look, shoots it wide to the left. Kendall Seeley steps away from his second goal tonight and now is hurt. After that shot, injured himself, was limping up and down, and now falls to the ground as the training staff will be called in to tend to Kendall Seeley. He overexerted himself after that last shot, and they will tend to his right leg, or actually it's going to be his left calf muscle cramping up a bit, as it locked up on him right after that shot that he took, which missed by mere inches. I believe it'll be Randell who will check in for him in moments. And also stretching himself out is Dermola. Here on a warm, humid night in Miami Shores. And the Bucks ahead only by 1 now, 3-2. Mentioned you 3 different Buccaneers scoring tonight. Kendall Seeley, Chris Wilkinson, and June Kim.
In the game for the Buccaneers, number 2, Connor Randell. In the game for Florida Southern.
There's Connor Randell back in.
13, Matthew Firestein.
And checking in for the first time for Florida Southern is Matthew Firestein, a freshman from Valrico here in the state, listed at 6'5". He is the tallest player in the team, 1 inch higher than Andreas Hagstrom, who's at 6'4". So Firestein at 6'5", tripped up, and a foul called on Florida Southern. And a late shove, and by Patrick Dermola. As he gets a warning from the officials. It was just a warning after a quick conversation here after he was stripped up, and then a late shove after play was whistled off. The free kick taken, cleared out. Rodriguez kicked up by Conkleton. Francois to Blumenthal. Sets it up here for Firestein. It's off of Sevieri. Conkleton kicks it up, picked off by Francois, but collected, and racing on over to get the ball is Coombs. Dermola trying to set up here for Kims, racing on over, and it'll be kicked out by Davidson. And the Bucks will throw in from the far sideline. Rio Torto to Coombs in the center of the field. Kips pass back to Real Torto. Gets it to Coombs in the center of the box. Kick is wide to the left. By Thomas Coombs. It was a little bit high. Not sure even if the ball was kicked straight, that would have been just low enough to try to get it past Terrio. Would have been high anyway. But nevertheless, doesn't matter. Shot was wide. And Terrio's goal kick sent towards midfield. Picked up by Firestein. Pass back to Davidson. Over to Gibson. Jenner. So I have another sub coming up for Florida Southern in a moment. As the Buccaneers bench, the right side of them, trying to argue the Bucks to get the ball. But the Mocs will keep it. Patrick Abramson back in for the Moccasins. As we have 66 minutes total time in. And the Bucks clinging to a 1-goal lead at 3-2. As 5 different players have scored tonight. Holmes shoots it across. Cleared out by Real Torto. Hit off a Mock. Torto had it, lost it. Nope, going to be kicked out by Abramson. So Real Torto will throw into Kim. Trying to get around. Kicked out of there. Kicked upfield by Dodds. Sets it up here for Coombs. Trying to get around Gibson. Tries to impede his progress. Knocked out by Gibson in Florida Southern, and the Bucks will throw in deep in the FSC zone. So it'll be Real Torto who will throw in. Quick kick by Kim, and it'll go high and wide to the left. And out of play. And a goal kick coming up here for Florida Southern. It was Hans-Johns and Blumenthal on the assist on that last goal. Seeley got the last assist on the June Kim goal. So Kendall Seeley with a goal and 2 assists. Randell to Conkleton. Tries to pass it back to Randell. Knocked down by Blumenthal. All loose. And collected by Coombs. Real Torto. Kim kicked out by Davidson. Bucks will throw in. Torto to Kim. Being approached by Davidson. Battle here between Davidson and Real Torto, and Bucks will throw in. It's off of a Mock. The Bucks will throw in once more. Torto go past Dermola. Gibson giving chase. And we kicked out of play. Bucks will throw in. And Dermola will yield to Real Torto once more. Right there, Dermola. Trying to get around 2 defenders. Kim gets past 1, racing towards the box. Quick shot and hits the post. But right there, but no, an offside called right at the moment that Patrick Dermola was in perfect position to kick it right into the back of the net. So that shot waved off, and the Bucks close to their 4th goal, but not to be. An offside call just a second before Dermola was able to track that ball down and was waiting to feast on a rebound and score his first goal of the season, but he'll have to wait. Quick shot and saved. As I believe that was Firestein who took that shot and went right to Fred Perez. Perez punts it away. Less than 20 minutes to go in regulation. Bucks at 3-2. And for Firestein, I believe that was his first shot of the year. Randell was there. Cleared out and into the bleachers. So a throw-in for Barry deep in the Florida Southern zone. It'll be Randell who will throw in. It's to Wilkinson. Right there, Rodriguez. Pass back to, and just saving it in before it went out of the end line, was Martin. Headed in front by Firestein. Sets it up here for Blumenthal. Trying to get around Sevieri. Does. Has Conkleton there. Hits off of Conkleton. Somehow Blumenthal got the ball back. Sevieri is able to track it down. Randell to Coombs.